currently on my way to Susanville, California to pick up a 2005 Lance Max 981, and I am super excited. Maddie's working, so I came up by myself to grab it, but it looks like it's in very, very good condition for 2005, which is why we kind of jumped on this last minute. I didn't think I was going to be getting it today, but here I am. So yeah, it's got a slide out. We used to have a Northern Light, but this one has a slide out, so we have way more room. It's probably about a foot taller, so more headroom, be able to actually sit up where the bed is. And yeah, overall just very, very excited to have this. We're going to use it as our snowboard rig in the wintertime, but then in the summertime we can use it just for camping all the time, do short trips, long trips, use it to go rock climbing for a day, or just go to the ski resort for a day, or go to the beach. Honestly, anything. I just am super happy to have a small adventure rig. So even when we end up selling the fifth wheel, we'll still have this as our camper to, like I said, we can do a one-day trip, a 2-week trip, or a month, do whatever we want. So be there in about an hour and see how much I film. I'm in a little bit of a rush trying to get back home before like 10 at night, so film as much as I can, but let's go. Here it is. The guy we just bought it from ran up to get some tools, but super good condition, no D-lam anywhere, roof looks good. So once I get out of here, I'll show you guys more of it, but garage kept when obviously not in use. And there's the inside.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Maddie.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to be giving you a tour of our 2005 Lance 981 Max truck camper that we just picked up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the outside, Maddie's going to do the inside, and then we'll go over our solar and our power station, and then maybe a little bit of the truck and what we're going to do. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet camper. We looked around for a couple months.
Yeah.
And we fell in love with this. Super clean, well maintained, and yeah, let's get into it.
Cool, let's go.
All right, so again, I'm going to go over the truck camper on the outside and the truck itself a little bit. It's a 2005 Lance Max 981, which is the very first year of the Max models. Essentially, it's all the bells and whistles and optional features in the lower models are included on this, which is really nice. So for 2005, I think this is a very comfy and well-built truck camper. The aluminum superstructure is stronger than like the other models, which is great. But the dry weight is a little bit under 3,500 pounds, which is definitely pushing my Ram 3500 to its limit. So we're going to put on airbags and then possibly a Hellwig sway bar to help out. The fresh tank size is 40 gallons, which for a truck camper is really good. My goal is to do about 7 to 10 days of boondocking if needed on one tank of water, which I'm pretty sure we can do. And then the gray tank and the black tank are each 30 gallons, which again, for a truck camper, especially 2005, is a good amount. We'll easily be able to go 7 days, if not the full 10 days. So when we got this, we really had in mind, we wanted to be able to do at least a week boondocking without having to fill up the water. And also we really wanted to slide out because we looked at other models that didn't have a slide out, and we used to have a Northern Light, and the slide out just gives you so much more room for when you're actually camped. It just feels so much more roomy in there to move around and do whatever it is that you're doing. But now we'll move on to the rest of the truck camper. All right, so we just got the normal truck camper jacks, but these are the dually ones that swing out. And what I like about these two is you just get a little bit more stabilization because they're out a little bit wider than when they are on the in mode. And then another feature I really like is the snap pads. They make them for truck campers, trailers, fifth wheels. So we have them on the fifth wheel and now the truck camper. We're not sponsored or anything, but what I really liked about them is they're a little bit wider than the actual feet themselves. So with like sand, mud, or whatever, they're a little bit more stable, and they're rubber, so they don't have the tendency to kind of slide around or have the feet move on you. If you own a truck camper, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But we have them on 3 legs. We're trying to get them on the 4th one. The 4th one's a little bent. So we'll hopefully get it on there, but the other 3 went on great. But yeah, so now we'll move on to the back of the truck camper and all the storage and stuff like that. To secure the truck camper itself to the truck, we just have the typical torque lift fast guns down here with the locks on them. I don't really think there's too many other options, but they work great for us. And then I could be wrong, but I believe one of the features of the Max line is you get like the full length slide out, where it's the full length of the truck camper. I could be wrong there. I thought that was true or not, But what we really like is this is the dinette right here, and you have huge windows to see outside, and they open up and everything. But now I'll show you the first exterior storage. It's somewhat small, but it's great. We got our ski helmets in there, ski boots, goggles, stuff like that. And we also made it so you can access it from the inside. So this is really nice for ski season. And then I'm sure we'll adjust our storage depending on the time of year. All right, so in here we have got our water, electric, and stuff like that. So up here, we've got our battery tray, which pulls out. And these are just our house batteries. These are not our solar batteries. We did a portable station. And then we've got our gray and our black tank, or whichever way, outside shower, hot, cold water drains. And then here we have got our 30 amp plug for our solar generator. So this black one right here, this is the actual 30 amp cable from the truck camper itself. And then this yellow one is coming from our solar power station, which I'll show you in a couple minutes. But so essentially when we're driving, we have power all the time, which is great. We don't have to plug anything in or do anything to have power. If we are at a truck stop or if we pull over for the night or whatever we do, we always have power on the inside, which is great. So now we're going to move on to the back side. So on the back of the truck camper, we have got the typical bumper with the slide out sewer tray in here. And it's great because everything fits in here. I don't need any other adapters to dump the tank. So it's super easy and simple, and I don't have to put sewer or anything in the storage compartments. Up top, we have got a Starlink mount adapter, so we can hopefully have the Starlink on the truck camper driving down the road. And then we've got two awnings. This is the smaller one. It probably only comes out about 3 to 4 feet, but it does provide a little bit of shade. And then on the side over here, this awning is actually huge. I don't know how far it comes out, maybe 8 feet or something, 10 feet, but it does come out very far, which is great. So it is really nice to have two awnings because my old truck camper had 0. And then here with the steps, they're adjustable. So you can either have them on the right if you are either flat towing or towing a trailer, because you'll have your hitch right here. And then you can move the step over to here if you're not towing or whatever you like better. We're currently just trying out to see how we like it on the right, but we might end up moving it back. Who knows? And then in this compartment, you've got the generator. So it is a 2500 watt Onan generator, and ours currently doesn't work. We don't know what's wrong with it, so we might be ripping it out. Who knows? We've tried troubleshooting it and we can't figure it out. But everything else in the truck camper is great, so honestly doesn't upset me too much. Now moving on to the side, we have got the dual 30-gallon propane tanks, and ta-da, that is it.
Yeah, big boys.
But it is nice to have the larger tanks. A lot of truck campers have like the normal barbecue grill tanks. So it is nicer having the bigger ones. And then over here is your generator access. Then you have a little storage compartment where we keep our water hose. And then we have a additional 30 amp cord, like an additional 20-foot cord for if we're at a campground or whatever. That's really it for there. And then on the side over here, we have got our water heater, our fresh tank fill, and then we have got another little storage compartment here, which is currently pretty full. So the previous owner gave us like 10 of the green propane bottles, which we don't need. So
We may get like a little grill or bring our
yeah,
with us, so we're kind of just keeping them for now.
But the only reason we might not need them is there is a propane hookup. See if Maddie can get a B-roll shot that we can put in. There is a propane hookup on the back side of here for a grill or Blackstone or something like that. All right, so to wrap up the exterior of the truck camper before Maddie takes you on the inside, one of the main reasons that we really liked this truck camper was obviously the layout and everything, but truly how well the truck camper was taken care of. There is no delamination, no water damage, no really any issues exterior wise. The entire underneath of the cap of the truck camper and the front is in great condition. There's no damage whatsoever, and it was garage kept from the previous owner. So that was a big selling point as we looked at Arctic Foxes and other models with a lot of delam issues and stuff like that. So we'll have Maddie take you on the inside and give you a tour.
All right, guys, so I'm going to give you a little tour of the inside. So first things first, we have this nice little storage compartment that's under the steps. Oops, came out easy this time. Right now we usually have more chairs, but we have them back at the fifth wheel. We just have our ski poles for when we go back in the backcountry. The only thing we were wishing this was like a little bit longer, because I think the other Lance model, people have been able to fit like their skis and snowboard in there, which would have been like perfect. But for now, it works. It holds like the dirty chairs and everything like that. So just a nice little feature to have, and just some added storage. And then another thing that we added is just this little mat. James actually had to put this exact thing in the back of the truck camper, in the back of the truck bed, to make it not wiggle around. He'll go over that in a little bit. But yeah, so without further ado, let's go in on the inside and get a little tour. So starting off with the dinette and the part that's on the slide, obviously it's a dinette and not like the U shape, which is what some of the other models, I think, without the slide have, which we just like this one. I just feel like it's more comfortable. It's better to like work and everything. And then obviously it turns into, I'd say maybe a twin or a full-size bed, definitely not a queen. And then underneath both sides, we have storage. So this one's going to be a pull-out drawer. It's very heavy right now because we literally have every single article of clothing for skiing and snowboarding in this one. And then underneath, we'll attach a clip above, obviously, of that. But, you know, I can just try to show you guys. We took the screws out underneath. So, see if you can get in there. So what we did in there is we just took the screws out because there is a lot of like hidden storage that they don't really give you access to. On that side, they give you access. That's where you saw like our goggles, the extra pair of snowboard boots, and everything like that. And then moving on to this side, down in here, this one's not a pull-out drawer. This is just obviously an opening for the cabinet, but we just have our ski boots, our snowboard boots. Sometimes we put our goggles and everything like that in there. And then again, did the same thing on this side. We took the screws out so that way we have a little bit more added storage. And then this is our newest mod we actually did yesterday. So this camper did come with, I guess, blackout shades like this, where you can pull them down to be like light and will allow some light, or you can do the blackout. But our camper came with the blinds kind of broken. We did attempt to repair them, but we're no experts, so it didn't really work out. So we just got some nice little curtain rods and curtains off of Amazon, and we actually like them better because they're black, obviously, so it keeps a lot of the light out, which is really nice. And now we'll have some extra privacy when we're like camped or just like hanging out at the ski resort. So real quick, before we get into like the full kitchen and everything, I did just want to go over that you have your control panel here. So you have your water pump, your water heater, your generator start stop, and then obviously all your levels for your tanks. And then we have this built-in radio, and there's a couple speakers that will show you. They literally go the whole length of the camper, which is really nice. And then down here too, I'll kind of just pick it up so you guys don't have to go down there. This is our control for the jacks. James will show you how those jacks work in a minute. But yeah, so now that we got all that out of the way, we're going to do a whole tour of the kitchen. So starting off over here, we do have this extended flip up cutting board, extended counter space, because as you can see, there's not that much space to like cook and prepare and everything like that. We have seen people add like a little, I guess, piece of like butcher block on top of this, which would be nice. I think they replaced the whole stovetop too. But anyway, just to give you some added space to prepare. And then we obviously have our two-sided sink. We got our coffee maker, our nice little spice rack. We might have to get a bigger one because we have our 5 top spices, but we may need some more for that. And then obviously we have our nice little 3-burner stove. James is going to have to shut that. I haven't gotten that down pat yet. And then we have our microwave. So we opted to get the model with the microwave instead of the oven, just because it's not like we're full timing in this, so we really don't need an oven. The microwave is obviously just nice to have, especially if we're like camping at a ski resort and stuff, and we just want to heat something up super quick. And then, yeah, so let's kind of move on to the storage part of the kitchen. So real quick before we get into the storage, we did get this cheap backsplash. I think we got it at the dollar store. It might not last us super long, but we just wanted to add a little bit of touch just to like kind of personalize it a little bit. As you can see, we're not done yet. We have to get another little panel of that, but we just think it kind of brightens up the kitchen a little bit. But yeah, so up here is a majority of our storage for the kitchen. The people we bought it from actually gave us pretty much all of this stuff besides like the Yetis and whatever, but gave us all the paper plates, paper bowls, the cups, silverware. And then I just bought us these 2 little dividers to try to kind of prevent stuff from sliding around when we're driving. So there's that. And then we have this little corner one. We haven't found, I guess, a use for all of that space yet. Right now we just have our internet and the animals' food in there for now. And then we do put like the glass coffee pot in there so it doesn't fall out and break when we're driving. Up here, we have a very tiny little spot. Again, that's kind of just the animal stuff, the leashes, the poop bags, the bowls, everything like that. Coming down into here, we have just more of our pots and pans. I don't know if you guys could see it before, but we have like our bigger pot in the microwave just because it didn't fit in the drawer. And then in here, we have our like cleaning supplies, the sponges, everything like that, our broom. And then we did end up putting our cat's litter box in there. Right now, we kind of just leave the door open when we're in here, but I think we're eventually either going to cut like a hole here or here and put like a little cat door, because honestly, there's not really much space to put his litter box. Some people put it in the bathroom, but like we did that and then we drove and litter literally got everywhere. So that spot didn't work. And then we were going to do under the dinette, but it was too short and his head was just like smacking the top. So it wasn't comfortable for him.
Under the bench.
Under the bench, yeah, which is why we opted to put it under the sink. So, and we weren't really using all that space anyway. So might as well put it there. All right, so moving on to our nice little pantry. This is the best part. We love this part because we had a deep pantry like this in our Class A and I guess now in our fifth wheel too. And when it's deep like this, it's just hard and like annoying to have to reach in all the time and get your stuff. So this is just really nice that we're able just to like put everything in, pull it in and out as needed. The only thing that does suck is that if something spills, like we spilled coffee and honey in there and it's very hard to clean because of the whole mechanism. But anyway, then you have this little thing, it just locks it. So obviously it can't move when you're driving. Over to here, this is more of like a closet, I guess, more than a pantry. You could probably use it if you needed it, but I don't think we're going to need that much space for all of our food. But I mean, obviously we won't find out until we go out. But yeah, so that's kind of just miscellaneous stuff right now. In here, we have all of our silverware, the lighter for the stove because you need it to start it. And then this is how you access the water stuff, I guess. I don't really know what's James's forte in that. And then in here, we got Pum Pop's tennis ball. Obviously need that, it's essential. And then the other people gave us lanterns, flashlights, which is really nice. So definitely storage is not a problem in this camper, as you can tell. Moving on to the shower. The only thing to open it, you've got to push this little guy down so the door doesn't slide. And then our shower is very dirty right now because, like I said, our cat's litter box literally spilled all over the place and we just haven't gotten a chance to clean it up. But as you can see, this is a wet bath. This was the only thing I didn't like about the camper, but I can suck it up because that's not full time. But yeah, so gotta sit to show you guys the storage. So in here, it's just our medicine cabinet. We got some soap and some sunscreen. And then you have in here, it's the toilet paper holder. And then we'll put like toilet paper and everything in there for that.
And this whole thing, there's storage here and
it goes through. Yeah, it's passed through.
So it's actually pretty big.
And then obviously you got your shower head, the towel holder, your lovely toilet. And then in here, this is just like where we put towels and everything. But definitely, again, like I said, there's like storage is literally not a problem in this camper. They like thought of everything. So yeah, I think that's kind of it for the bathroom. Obviously you got your fan and then you have your shower curtain, which you just unvelcro.
Goodbye.
Oh, and then there's little Velcro tabs in here to flip it to. Do you want me to show them? So it's just these little Velcro things. So when you shut it, all you got to do is Velcro that bad boy on. And that is the lovely bathroom. And then real quick too, the bathroom light is not in there. I'm assuming because it gets wet. So nice little light switch. And then this is our thermostat. So obviously cooling, heat, and fan, which controls this bad boy right here. We had this on when we were in Death Valley and it cooled the whole camper down like literally so quick because I think it's just such a small space. And then while we're on that topic, obviously we have our Max Air fan up here, which this is amazing too, because you can control like the air. You can do hotter or colder, and then obviously air in or air out. Yeah. And then before we get up into the bedroom, we'll go over the fridge. If I can open these tabs. Again, storage is not a problem because this is pretty much a full-size fridge, I think, for an RV, right?
This is the same size fridge as our old Class A.
Yeah. So, and our Class A, I don't think we may have filled the fridge, or no, we may have filled the freezer, but the fridge was literally never full. So plenty of space in there, and then obviously a really good size freezer. So perfect for if we do like a month or two, or even just like a 2-week trip. Obviously we're not full timing, so we don't need to have everything loaded to the brim. And then a nice little feature, I don't know if it came with it or if the people added it, but we have this little guy up here that just kind of holds the remotes for the TV, the radio, and everything like that. So let's move on into the bedroom. Okay, so this part's going to be a little hard to kind of show you every single feature that it has, but I'm going to show you first things first. Above us is a really nice skylight. We'll show you how that works in a little bit. As you can see, it has an option to put the screen across. That way, if you have the window open, no bugs and everything like that. And then there's also a blackout shade for at night. So get that out of the way. And then moving up here, I'm going to take the camera from you. This is our newest addition. We got a, what is it, 21 inch? 22 inch TV. The camper did come with one, but it was ancient, had no HDMI or anything, so it was kind of useless. But yeah, that's our nice little TV James installed the other day. Closet number 1. This is mine, obviously, because it's bigger. Sorry. And then we got this storage up here. Asher's cute little couch. We have this huge storage thing, which also goes all the way across into this one. And last but not least, this little storage spot also. That is that for my side. Obviously, I have an outlet. I don't think James does. And then we have this little, I don't even know what you would call this. What would you call that?
Storage thing over your head.
Yeah, I guess that works. And it comes with little like reading lights. And obviously he gets a reading light too. And then on his side, little storage, whatever that thing is going to be for. And then 2 big pass-through storages. So you only get the one closet, but I mean, I think this will be plenty of space, and he can always steal some of my closet space. And then back here, we also have those double blinds. So you can allow some light in or none at all. All right, and then as promised, going to show you probably our favorite part of the camper. And this wasn't like a must, but James's Northern Light had this, and it's just really nice. Like if you like to look at the stars like we do, it's just nice to be able to have the option to kind of like pop your head out. I like it for stars. James likes it as like a, I guess, a safety thing. So like if you hear something, you can kind of pop your head out. But yeah, super nice. And then, like I said, you have, this is that blackout cover that does go across it. But yeah, so very gentle. So I think that is it for the bedroom. Oh, real quick too, I'll show you the power station, and then James will go over all the nerdy stuff. But this is our power station. We have the Pecron E3600. Like I said, James will go over all of the features, but where the litter box was, or is, that's where we are trying to fit the Pecron, but it's a little bit too tall. We tried taking the feet off, it didn't fit, which is why we opted to kind of put it up here. And it was kind of just wasted space anyway. The only thing we had there was like blankets and everything. But yeah, so we kind of routed that around into the floor. And again, I'll go over all of that. But yeah, so I think that is it for the inside of our camper. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
Cool. And then, oh yeah, these are just the speakers I was telling you about. So we got 1, 2 in the bedroom, and then 2 in here. And yeah, so that is the inside. I hope you guys love the interior as much as we do.
We've got our Pecron E3600, and we've got it hooked up to our 30 amp cable, which we have routed down below. And we're going to do a whole solar install video with solar panels and how we have everything configured. And we're going to do inverter charger from the truck to charge the pet ground while driving, but it's great because you turn on AC power, and then Maddie can go over to the microwave and show that we have power on the unit. All the lights and everything should be on the microwave.
Yes, sir.
But so yeah, it's great. We can run everything, and then there's also DC power. So if the truck camper's electrical system were ever to malfunction or have an issue, we'll still have power directly from the Pacron since it's inside the unit. Obviously, the only downside is like we'll hear some noise when it's charging via solar and stuff like that, or if we're putting a heavy load like the AC on it. But obviously, you're gonna hear the AC anyway. So shut the Pacron off. But what's cool is I'll show you real quick. We've got two cables. So this black 30 amp cable is running from the Pacron outside to the cable I showed you guys in the outside storage bay. So this is actually plugged into the camper at all times. And then this green cable is how we can charge the Pacron via AC. So we can plug into any normal house outlet, or what the plan is we're going to put an inverter in my truck. So that way we can charge it at about 1,000 watts while we drive. And then we're going to have about 500 watts of solar on the roof, and we might go more. But again, I'm not going to go super in depth. And then the cables are just running under the floor to the outside tray. So yeah, we're going to show you the roof and wrap this thing up. So the only other thing that's different up here is we took off the satellite, and there's also a low profile AC unit. So the OEM one was a little bit taller, so it's just lower. But other than that, I think it's the exact same BTU. But yeah, roof's in great condition. So
Didn't hit my head that time. And then obviously, like I said, this is the hatch. You can obviously climb out. It's just kind of painful because it's plasticky. But like I said, it's just really nice to like be out and just, I mean, you can tan up here, you can look at the stars. But yeah. All right, guys, so that is it for our tour of our truck camper. Like we said, this is not something that we're going to be using full time, but
we do plan on taking this out for 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 weeks, or possibly even like a month or two. Was the whole goal of getting the truck camper while we still have the fifth wheel. And even when we sell the fifth wheel and get a house one day, we just love the idea of a truck camper because it's kind of like a van, but you can take it off and still take the truck wherever you want to go. But yeah, I think we feel it's a good size, not too big, not too small, and we can do most of the stuff we want to do. Obviously not crazy off-road trails.
But this is also why we wanted to get the one with the slide out, because we knew once we got a house, we were going to obviously use this as like our main adventure vehicle. So if we were to get one without a slide, it kind of would have been a little bit tight, and we probably would have wanted to upgrade. So we were like, we might as well just spend a little bit more and just get one that like we're not going to have to trade in a couple of years. But yeah.
Yeah, so we got this thing for 10 grand, and I feel like it's a really good deal.
Yeah, everyone we talked to, they're like 10 grand.
Yeah, everyone was kind of shocked. So I feel like 10 grand was a very fair price for how good of condition it's in.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably put another 2 grand into it with all our solar and stuff. But I mean, to be under 12 grand and be able to pretty much go remote full time or whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so I mean, that is it for our tour. And then obviously stay tuned for the video. It most probably will be James doing the solar and going over like more in depth in the Pacron, how much wattage and whatever else there is that goes into solar. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Cut.